There are places people visit during the day to walk, admire the views, and take photographs. But at night, those places change. In Kyiv, there is one such hill. It is called Bald Mountain. For hundreds of years, people have told stories about strange things that happen there after sunset, about whispers between the trees, about lights deep in the dark forest, about shadows standing in the clearings, staring into the darkness. Most people believe these are only legends, but sometimes there are those who want to test them. A few months ago, 4 bloggers decided to film a video on Bald Mountain. They wanted to show their audience that all those stories were nothing more than myths. They took their cameras and flashlights and went into the forest after sunset. That night, 3 of them disappeared, without a trace. Only one returned. And what you are about to hear is his story. There are places people visit during the day to walk, admire the views, and take photographs. But at night, those places change. In Kyiv, there is one such hill. It is called Bald Mountain. For hundreds of years, people have told stories about strange things that happen there after sunset, about whispers between the trees, about lights deep in the dark forest, about shadows standing in the clearings, staring into the darkness. Most people believe these are only legends, but sometimes there are those who want to test them. A few months ago, 4 bloggers decided to film a video on Bald Mountain. They wanted to show their audience that all those stories were nothing more than myths. They took their cameras and flashlights and went into the forest after sunset. That night, 3 of them disappeared, without a trace. Only one returned. And what you are about to hear is his story. The Secret of Bald Mountain. I hesitated for a long time before telling this story. Several months have passed. The police closed the case. The news reported that 3 bloggers disappeared during a night shoot in the forest. They simply vanished, without a trace. I was the only one who came back. Sometimes it feels like it would have been better if I had stayed there too. On Bald Mountain. Everything started with a video. Our channel wasn't very big, but it was growing quickly. We explored mysterious places, abandoned houses, old cemeteries, dark underground tunnels. People liked watching us test urban legends. There were 4 of us. Me, the one telling this story now. Sergey, the owner of the channel and the main host. Dima, the cameraman and editor. Marina, she researched the stories and legends for our videos. One evening, Marina said something that changed everything. Did you know, she said, that there's a place in Kyiv where witches have supposedly gathered for hundreds of years? Sergey immediately became interested. No way. Where? Marina smiled. Bald Mountain. For a moment, the room fell silent. I had heard about that place. Almost everyone in Kyiv had. Old legends, strange stories, whispers about night rituals. But honestly, I never took it seriously. Sergey was already opening a map on his phone. Imagine the video, he said. A night investigation on Bald Mountain, testing the legends about witches. Dima laughed. Dima laughed. That's definitely going to get views. Marina quietly added, the most important thing is not to stay there until sunrise. Why? I asked. She hesitated for a moment. Because the legends say, after midnight, you shouldn't be there. We just laughed. If I had known how it would end, I would have never agreed to go. We arrived at Bald Mountain late in the evening. The city lights glowed somewhere far beyond the trees, but the forest itself was dark and strangely quiet. No wind, no birds, not even insects. Dima turned on the camera. The red recording light glowed in the darkness. Sergey immediately began speaking for the video, as always. Hey everyone! Tonight we're at one of the most mysterious places in Kyiv, Bald Mountain. According to legend, this is where witches gather for their midnight rituals. Marina pointed her flashlight between the trees. The beam cut through the darkness, revealing old trunks and thick bushes. "If we see a witch," Dima joked, "this will be the most popular video on the channel." I smiled too, but a few minutes later, the jokes stopped being funny because we started finding strange things. First, there were symbols. On one of the trees, someone had carved a mark. It was deep and old, as if it had been made many years ago. Then another, and another. Marina leaned closer to the tree. "These aren't just scratches," she said quietly. "What are they then?" Sergei asked. She didn't answer immediately. "They look like old ritual symbols." A chill ran down my spine. "Maybe just tourists carving stuff with knives," Dima said. Marina slowly shook her head. "No, these symbols are old." At that moment we heard a sound, a branch snapping. All of us turned at the same time. The forest behind us was dark and empty. "Hello?" Sergei shouted. Silence. I was about to say it was probably an animal when I heard it. A whisper. Soft, barely audible, like someone speaking very far away between the trees. Marina suddenly turned off her flashlight. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. None of us spoke. The whisper moved through the forest again. And then I realized something terrifying. The sound was getting closer. Sergei laughed nervously. "It's probably just the wind," but there was no wind that night. Dima slowly turned the camera toward the dark forest. "If those are people," he said, "the camera will catch them." For a few seconds, there was nothing, only darkness. Then the camera suddenly focused. Someone was standing between the trees, far away, a dark figure, completely still. Marina quietly said, "We're not alone." Sergei shouted, "Hey, is that you over there?" The figure didn't move. Then another one appeared, and another. My heart started beating faster. In the darkness between the trees, people were standing. A lot of people. And they slowly began moving toward us. Marina grabbed my arm. "We need to leave, right now." But it was already too late. Because at that exact moment, the entire forest filled with whispers, and every voice said the same thing. "You have come." I don't remember how the panic started. I only remember Sergei screaming, Dima dropping the camera, Marina running toward the trail, and those figures in the forest, running after us. I ran as fast as I could. Branches hit my face. The ground slipped under my feet. Behind me, I heard screams. Then one of them suddenly stopped. I don't know what happened to Dima. Then I heard Marina's voice. She was shouting my name. I turned around, and I saw them. They were standing around her, dark figures in long robes, and in the middle of them burned a small fire. One of them was looking straight at me. Even from that distance, I could see his eyes. And then I heard the words, quiet, but very clear. "One will leave. The others will stay." I ran. I ran without stopping. Through the forest, through the bushes, through the darkness. I don't know how long it lasted. When I finally reached the road, the sky was already starting to grow light. I was alone. The police searched for them for weeks. They found nothing. No traces, no cameras, not even the trail we had followed. But sometimes, at night, when the wind blows from the forest, I hear that whisper again. And it repeats the same words. One returned, but you will come back. I tried to forget that night. For the first few weeks, I barely left my apartment. Every sound outside the window made me flinch. My phone kept ringing. Journalists, police officers, the relatives of my friends. They all asked the same question. What happened on Bald Mountain? and every time I gave the same answer. We got lost. I don't remember anything. They didn't believe me. I could see it in their eyes, but the truth was far worse. A few days after I returned, the police found our car. It was parked exactly where we had left it. Everything was still inside, backpacks, a tripod, even one of the flashlights. But the camera was missing. Dima always carried it with him. The police searched the forest for days, then for another week. They used drones, dogs, but they found nothing. No signs of a struggle, no blood, not even our footprints deep in the forest, as if we had simply vanished. Only I came back. A month passed. Little by little, I started to feel normal again. I even thought about deleting our channel so I would never have to remember any of it. But one evening, something strange happened. I was sitting at my computer when an email arrived. No name, no subject, just one attached file, a video. At first I thought it was some kind of joke, but when I saw the file name, a cold wave ran through my body. CAM_04_Lysa Hora. That was the name of our camera. My hands started trembling as I opened the video. The screen went black for a moment. Then the image appeared. The camera was lying on the ground. I recognized the place. The same forest. The shot was crooked, as if someone had simply thrown the camera down. All I could see was grass, dirt, and dark tree trunks. But the sound was perfectly clear. Whispers. The same whispers. Dozens of voices speaking at once. I was about to turn the video off when I heard a familiar voice. It was Dima. He was screaming, very far away, but I recognized him. Help! Then the scream suddenly stopped. For several seconds, the camera just lay there on the ground. Then someone stepped into the frame. At first, I only saw feet. Bare, dirty. Then the figure leaned down toward the camera. I saw her face. It was a woman, very old. Her eyes were completely black. She stared directly into the lens, as if she knew that one day I would see this recording, and she smiled. Then she spoke quietly, but clearly. "We remember you." The screen suddenly went black. The video ended. I sat there, unable to move for several minutes. Then I checked my email again. The message was gone. The file was gone too, as if it had never existed. After that day, I started noticing strange things. At first, they were small. Sometimes it felt like someone was standing outside my window at night. Sometimes I heard those same whispers when the apartment was completely silent. But one night, something happened that terrified me more than anything else. I woke up in the middle of the night. The room was dark, but on the floor, something was there. I turned on the light and felt my heart stop. Carved into the wooden floor was a symbol, the same mark we had seen on the trees on Bald Mountain, deep scratches in the parquet, as if someone had carved it with a knife. I live on the 5th floor. The door was locked, the windows were closed, and yet the symbol was there. That was when I realized something truly horrifying. I didn't just escape that night. They let me go. Because sometimes when I look into the mirror in the dark, it feels like there are people standing behind me, watching, waiting for night to come. And when I hear that whisper again, the same whisper, it's time to return to Bald Mountain. After the symbol appeared on the floor, I almost stopped sleeping. Every night I woke up at the slightest noise. Sometimes it felt like someone was walking in the hallway, slowly, carefully, as if they didn't want me to hear them. But whenever I opened the door, no one was there. I tried to convince myself it was just my nerves, that after what happened in the forest, my mind was starting to imagine things. But one evening, everything became worse. I came home late. The apartment was dark. I was about to turn on the light when I noticed something strange. The front door was slightly open, just a little. I clearly remembered locking it. My heart began to beat faster. "Hello?" I said quietly. Silence. I slowly stepped inside. Everything in the room looked normal. Nothing was moved, nothing was missing. But something new was lying on the table. A small flash drive. Black. Old. I stood there for several seconds, staring at it. Then I picked it up. There was a scratched inscription on it. CAM_04. At that moment, a cold feeling spread through my body. It was the same camera. The one we lost in the forest. I don't remember walking to my computer. My hands were shaking when I plugged the drive in. There was only one file on it. Video_last. For a long time, I couldn't bring myself to click open, but eventually I did. The screen was black at first, then the image appeared. The camera was moving between the trees. Someone was holding it. The breathing was heavy and uneven. And suddenly I realized something terrifying. I was watching something I had never seen before. This was after I ran away. Marina was holding the camera. She was running through the forest. I could hear her breathing, her quiet sobs. "If anyone finds this video," she whispered, "please, don't come here." Suddenly she stopped. The camera turned, and I saw them. The same figures, dark, motionless, standing between the trees. There were dozens of them. Marina slowly stepped backward. "Don't come closer," she said. Then, from the darkness, the old woman appeared, the same one I had seen in the previous video. She slowly walked closer to the camera. Her eyes were black like the night. She smiled. "You are not the one we were waiting for," she said. Marina whispered, "What do you want from me?" The old woman slowly raised her hand and pointed directly at the camera. "We need the one who escaped." At that moment, the video shook violently. Marina started screaming. The camera fell to the ground. For a few seconds, only the dark sky and tree branches were visible. Then the old woman's face appeared in the frame. She leaned toward the camera and quietly said, "We will find him anyway." The video ended. I sat in front of the screen without moving. The room was silent, too silent, and that was when I heard it. A sound, barely audible. A whisper. It was coming from the hallway. Slowly, I turned my head. The door to my room was open, and behind it, in the dark hallway, people were standing. Dozens of dark figures, completely still. Then one of them stepped forward. I recognized her, the old woman from the video. She smiled and quietly said, "It's time to return. Tilen, to Bald Mountain." I don't remember how I ended up outside. I only remember running. The door to my apartment was left open. I didn't even take a jacket. The cold night air burned my lungs, but I kept running without looking back. It felt like if I stopped even for a second, they would be right behind me. The whisper didn't disappear. It was somewhere behind me, and at the same time, inside my head. "Return. It's time. Return." I ran through the streets until dawn began to break. When the first people appeared outside, the whisper faded, and the figures disappeared, as if they had never been there. I thought that was the end, but it was only a pause, because a few days later the dreams began. The same dream. Every night, I am standing in a dark forest. The trees around me are tall and black. Small fires burn between them, and ahead, there is a clearing. People are standing there, all of them wearing long, dark robes, all of them looking directly at me. In the center of the circle stands the old woman, the same one. She looks straight into my eyes, and she says, "You remember the way?" I wake up covered in cold sweat. But every night the dream becomes clearer. Now I can see the path. I know where it turns. I know where the hill rises. I know where the stone lies in the forest, the one with the carved symbol. And the worst part is this. Sometimes I wake up and see dirt on my shoes, as if I really went somewhere during the night. Tonight I decided to record this story. If you're listening to this, it means the recording has already been published. I thought for a long time about whether I should do it, but the truth must remain. Because if something happens to me, you will know what really happened on Bald Mountain. It's night now. I'm sitting by the window, recording these words, and I just realized something. I'm no longer afraid, because the whisper has returned. But now it sounds different. Now it's quiet, calm, and it says only one thing. You are already close. I look out the window and I see the forest. I don't remember how I got here, but in front of me there is a familiar path. I know this road. I have been here before. And ahead, between the trees, I can see a light. They are waiting. If you ever come to Kyiv and hear the legends about Bald Mountain, please, never go there at night. Because sometimes you return from there, and sometimes Bald Mountain returns you.